Welcome, SOE fans. I'm Linda Brasse Carlson, the Director of Community Relations here at SOE, and we want to welcome you today to the first ever Vanguard Saga of Heroes webcast. First ever. Are you guys excited?
Super excited.
Pretty exciting.
Anyway, today we're going to talk about Vanguard free-to-play, as well as some recent improvements that are made to the game and what's in store for the future. Now, we wanted to ask you about the ESRB rating for the game. We noticed that it said partial nudity. Please explain. I have not seen this partial nudity. Bare feet, is that partial nudity?
Are they referring to the game or the development team? Because Salim wears, he's scantily clad sometimes.
I'm not going to ask for a demonstration,
okay.
But I can see where this webcast is going.
Yes, yes.
Welcome to the Gigglecast.
We weren't supposed to talk about that.
Okay, I apologize.
Oh, first rule of Vanguard Club?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm actually... So you players out there, let us know where this partial nudity occurs, because I must have missed it. I played a little goblin shaman, you know, we just don't go that way. But let me introduce these guys properly. Andy Seitz over on the far side, he is the Director of Development for Vanguard, and he is sometimes known on the forums as Seitz, because he's really creative with his forum handles, I tell you.
I'm super creative like that.
That's really
easy
impressive.
to search on the web too for sites.
For all you stalkers out there. And sitting right beside me is Salim Grant, also known as Silius, probably the guy that posts more on the Vanguard forums than any player that we've ever seen on there. So Salim is the creative director on Vanguard. So I need to ask you guys, do you guys actually play the game? Please say yes. Please say yes.
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 Okay, so what's your highest level character, Andy?
So I have a sad arsenal of very low level characters. My highest level character I think is 16, but I have a ton of low teen characters. I like to go through the new player experience and complain to Salim about how we need to improve it. But I think Salim has some higher level characters than I do.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Of course, I haven't played a whole lot recently since I got back. But
You've been kind of busy.
Yes, busy, to say the least. But yeah, I have a couple 50s and some mid-30s, stuff like that. I've dabbled around with all the classes pretty much.
Well, congratulations, Salim, because that qualifies you for our brand new game show, which is Name That Screenshot. We're going to show a short collection, I think there's 9 in this series, of screenshots from Vanguard, and Salim's going to tell you what's in each one. And then Andy's going to have to invent a prize for the end. So if we could roll those screenshots, go. Okay, first one. What that?
That's me and APW posing for my my Vogue cover.
Oh yeah, okay. Next.
That is an old girlfriend of mine, APW. She got a little angry when I broke up with her.
Wow.
I told her Vanguard was more important.
Oh, okay. I can understand that. Next.
That, well, he and I had a falling out. So a friend of mine, Kodasoff, once again from APW, he gets a little, little crazy towards the end of the year. But yeah, see, got some of my friends there taking care of him.
So where do you find these people to be friends with?
Well, I wasn't always a game designer. I had kind of a shady past. So, these guys are just kind of from there.
All right, next one. Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
What that?
That's me suiting up, once again, in APW. Sometimes you got to put on your best dress and go out and have some fun.
Got it. Okay, this is how you attend Scrum meetings? Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, and that? Where is that?
That is out in the Blighted Lands. It's actually a really awesome screenshot. Shows off our cool clouds. And that portal... that is an Olvari portal, and I believe one of our raid mobs, similar, is right under there. He's also another good friend of mine.
Okay. All right, and as we transition to the next slide, the people in the chat channel want to know, what's APW?
Oh,
for all of us who haven't a clue.
APW is our raid dungeon, Ancient Port Warehouse. It's actually a pretty extensive and really incredible dungeon. This is also, I want to say, outside of Blighted Lands. It's on Cogen. I can't remember the exact area, but it's also another super awesome screenshot.
So have you ever made it from one end of Vanguard to the other on foot? Because it's huge.
I've never attempted to walk there personally, but yes, Vanguard is gigantic, probably one of the biggest MMO spaces out there.
And is that why you guys had flying mounts in right from launch?
Yeah. Yeah, and you couldn't get them until higher levels, but yeah, the goal was for the player to progress through this kind of mount progression we had, and then once you get to the top level, you've kind of seen the game in one way and explored it all, and now you can fly them out and kind of see it from another angle and maybe discover some things you didn't discover before.
And so what's this an image of?
I believe this is near Kelbrial, but I'm not overly super familiar with Kojan. It's not one of my favorite places to play.
What's your favorite place?
I'm a huge fan of Kalia.
Oh.
I like the lore, I like the Egyptian theme, stuff like that. Yeah, this is outside of Kelbrial.
Very nice. Okay, next one. Or is that it? Oh.
And this would be Rosin Kur, Burning City, City of Brasse, whatever you want to call it. But this is on Kalia. It's the home of the Jinn.
That's really cool, actually. Okay, so that completes it. And Andy what's his prize?
Let's see, what could your prize be? I think something that the community doesn't know about is your love for Ryan Gosling, actor. So I'm gonna see what I can do about getting you an autographed headshot of Ryan Gosling. Does that sound good, Salim? This is where
I wish we could do a close-up for the reaction shot, you know. He's speechless. He's so overjoyed. All right, just while Salim is digesting that awesome award that he just got. So, of course, it's been a few years, and all of you diehard Vanguard players whose passion carried this game through thick and thin and has kept Vanguard going, it's about time. The game's got a bunch of developers back on it. We've been doing developer spotlights so you can get to know everybody who's involved. And the huge advancement that we're making is we're going free to play your way. And so we understand, let's see, in the producer's letter, Andy, you said that the final stretch is underway. And you also committed the team to summer. You know summer has an end, right? It comes in mid-September sometime?
Exactly.
You're still on target for all this?
Before the end of the summer, yes. Yeah, so
awesome.
I think I might have mentioned in there that our goal is mid-August. We're still on track. Team is working away. They're at the point now where they're starting to push a lot more changes up to the test server. You'll see on the forums, Hobart has been posting a lot of requests for players to get in and help out.
Right.
But design is focused on content improvements, further polish of the game that they've been doing over the last couple months. Code's essentially wrapping up the free-to-play tiered membership mechanisms and the new marketplace, which we're not ready to show off right now. But that'll, of course, be rolling out along with the free-to-play launch as well.
That's a good point there. I just want to talk about the membership matrix a little bit. That's currently available on vgplayers.station.sony.com, as well as the FAQ for the free-to-play. But with the membership matrix, we got a lot of interesting and varied responses to that. So you guys actually put out some of the changes that you were considering putting in for the matrix, and we've got quite a lot of discussion underway on that. So what have you learned from that discussion?
Well, last week, I think there's a reason why we put in the small print last week that the matrix was subject to change. And because really what we wanted to do is, I mean, you saw that we removed the silver tier, and we wanted to take the liberty of actually making some changes and adjustments to the free-to-play offering for Vanguard. So last week, as you mentioned, we rolled it out. We got feedback. We definitely listen to the community. We read the forums every day, and just based on that feedback, we put together a list of probably the strongest and the most passionate points that people were making. And we we started a thread the other day and posted, "This is what we're thinking. What do you guys think?" And people seem to be very happy. While those changes aren't official yet, we're probably going to be incorporating them more formally into the matrix over the next day or so.
That's really cool. Thank you guys for all of your feedback. Some of you came back with very long, measured responses, clearly detailing the reasons behind your opinions. That's extraordinarily helpful to the dev teams.
Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we also just learned in the meeting that we just had prior to this webcast that we're overhauling the webcast as well, and they've got the initial designs ready for you guys to look at too. So that's a good step in the right direction as well. So we'll have to, is that going to go up before the free-to-play launch or after? Do you have any idea?
It should be going up soon, and by webcast you mean the website?
Sorry, the website, yes.
Yes, I was confused.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we plan on, we're not only are we converting Vanguard to free-to-play, but the team is essentially treating this as a relaunch. There's a lot of changes that are going in that team members have been wanting to introduce for a long time, and this is really a great opportunity to not just introduce a new business model and a new play model, but also just introduce all the changes and improvements and and everything that the team's been wanting to do now that we actually have a sizable group of people working on it.
Let's backtrack on that idea a little bit. I know that we announced that there was a dev team actively working on the game again at some point in the spring, but how long ago did you actually start working together before the announcement was even made?
Well, we officially started, what was it?
It was the end of February.
End of February.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, we started at the end of February. The team was fairly small. We were still growing it, and we've actually just added the last few folks about a month ago.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's great because you guys have come up with a whole lot of stuff since then. Let's talk a little bit about the recent improvements that you've made to the game. The gameplay revamp, the 1 to 50 improvements.
So, I mean, when I got on the team, one of the biggest things I wanted to do was identify kind of this path from 1 to 50 for Vanguard. And when I sat down to try to work out, you know, what some people will refer to a golden path,
right.
I realized that you really can't define a path in Vanguard because the world is so big. So, you know, I got the team together and we decided, hey, let's try to knock out most of it. So, you know, we decided to kind of look at the newbie experience and refine it and spread it out. You know, we had a thing called Isle of Dawn. And we took that experience and kind of stamped it in some other areas and kind of grow from there. So while we definitely try to lead you down a path of stuff that we've done, it's a wide path. It's hey, I'm on Thestra, I finished here. Hey, I could go to Kaylee at this point and kind of be directed to these different things. So that's what I'm really excited about. We've gone through quest flow, done a lot of things to kind of make the gameplay feel better, a little more contemporary. On top of that, you know, I reviewed the reward metric and I wasn't happy with it. You know, I think that someone coming into the game needs to be able to receive rewards at a steady pace and feel like they're becoming more powerful and they're getting something for this effort they're putting in. So we've redone the reward metric. We've essentially put in about 12,000 new items into the game as a whole. That's including re-itemizing pretty much all the Overland quest stuff, all the Overland named, all the dungeons. Like we've done this, that's like the single largest task of all of this, was that. We're still in the process of getting those finished, but yeah.
Yeah, that's an incredibly ambitious project. I'm really impressed, and I think that the players were, well, first it was disbelief, and then it was very cautious optimism, and I think that everybody's really behind you guys on this now. So for people who have never played Vanguard before, what's your #1 reason that you would give them for playing the game once it goes free to play? I mean, other than the fact that it's free.
I think that Vanguard kind of stands out when it comes to fantasy MMOs because it isn't kind of the cookie cutter style that people have gotten used to over the past few years. I mean, Vanguard obviously was a big game scope wise, and we tried to do some things that were just kind of out of the box thinking. We weren't successful at all of it, but Vanguard still has a lot of those things. Like, you know, we've got an elaborate crafting system. Obviously, diplomacy is very unique to our game. Our world is large. It's seamless. You know, when you're using a fine mount in our game, it's just incredible to see the visual fidelity of our game. I mean, photorealistic art from you know, someone like Keith Parkinson. It's just an amazing experience. And then just our gameplay in general. We have a lot of cool stuff. Our combat is really fun to play. Our classes are unique on many levels. So we've got a lot of cool things to offer someone who's interested in playing MMO.
And you also have a very wide range of classes and races as well. How many do you have in total?
Yeah, I always
putting them on the spot again for bonus points.
We have, is it more? Yeah, we have 16 races and man, 15 classes. Sorry. I should know this off the top of my head, but yeah.
It's a lot. I remember when I was first making a character, and I actually have the same problem that Andy does. I ended up with a ton of different characters because I wanted to try them all. Although I ended up sticking with my dwarf and my little goblin shaman the longest. The goblins are so cool.
Yes, yes.
And you know, to kind of go back and touch on the fact that it's free to play, I mean, it's all the gameplay improvements that are going in, the fact that it's fairly unique. It's not, like Salim said, it's not just a cookie cutter MMO.
Right.
The fact that you can get in and download it for free and play it and play a lot of it without having to actually make any sort of financial commitment is great, because I think once people get in and check it out, especially people that had played before and maybe stopped playing, wanted to come back and check it out, it's definitely worth it.
Sure. I will freely admit that I didn't get that far in Vanguard the very first time I played it because my system specs weren't up to it. But now I think everybody's computers have caught up to that level of technology.
That we've been making a lot of performance
Yes.
improvements.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, lots of performance
Absolutely.
improvements.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So the next thing, future plans here. City of Brasse. Tell the truth. You named it after Brasse the dwarf, right? No, I guess that was coincidental. That would have been so cool, though. I could write my mom, "Dear Mom, they named a city after me."
You could tell your mom that. That's fine.
Technically, City of Brasse 2 is Plane of Fire, but that release doesn't just include this dungeon. Basically, City of Brasse 2 is another plane that's related to the Djinn. On top of that, we're releasing a couple of Overland Raid mobs. I think that's everything for that particular release. And obviously we have plans for some stuff after that.
And do you have a release date for that yet? Is it coming before or after the relaunch?
It's after free-to-play goes out. I really want people to focus on getting the bulk of content that I just mentioned done. And obviously, gearing the game up again was going to definitely take some focus. So, but I'm hoping to start, drilling out the plans for City of Brasse's release, early next week or a week after.
Wow, nice.
And beyond City of Brasse, just to kind of set expectations, and I'll have the team kill me when I say this, but I mean our goal overall with regards to just setting expectations for updates is that we want to do updates more frequently than we've done before. I mean, I think the team, there was a lot of cautious optimism when we announced that there was a team working on it again,
Yes.
and we wanted to, rather than just talk about on the forums how we were going to be doing updates more than once every couple months, the team just wanted to show the fact that they're going to do the updates. And I mean, they've been doing tons of updates. When we launched the game, the plan is to still continue updating much more frequently, introducing new items into the marketplace, new content, major updates like City of Brasse. And we want people to come back and always feel like there's something new and fresh in the game.
Yeah, and to that end, I know that I'm not allowed to talk about it yet, but I know that in conjunction with the launch, we're going to have a couple of little promotions and contests where people can win prizes. So you should keep an eye out for that on the Facebook page. Make sure that you like Vanguard Facebook page so that you can keep track of all of these promotions. And anytime an article goes up, we link it there as well. It's another good place to provide feedback. Half of us spend half our lives on Facebook these days. So do you guys read the Facebook pages too? Is social media becoming part of it? When are you doing a Twitter account?
I'm not a tweeter, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know? I have a Twitter account. I just don't want to share it with everyone. I use it to gather information, not necessarily project.
Oh, so he is listening to you guys, right?
Yes.
I got it. So what else? Is there anything else that's sort of really long-term that you want to give a brief hint about, something that isn't going to have PR or brand kill you for mentioning it?
Sure. I mean, some of the players already know this, but we will be exploring putting an AA system in. We have a partial one, but I mean, obviously, a lot of those plans are kind of based on the success of the game. But as far as features go, that's one thing that's definitely on the list of things that I want to see go in.
You had mentioned earlier about the diplomacy system, and that was one of the things I really enjoyed about the game. That was something completely new to me. I loved the way it was integrated into the gameplay. Is that something that you're going to continue carrying forward as you build new quest lines and that sort of thing?
Of course. It's one of the three spheres, and we try to treat them as equally as we can. Obviously, adventuring gets more than the other spheres, but diplomacy, like I said, it's a really unique feature, and it's a really awesome feature. So yeah, we will invest in it in all the content that we release, just like we invest in crafting about the same.
So actually, for the players who may play some of our other games, but they've never tried Vanguard, is it possible for you to describe diplomacy very briefly so that they know what we're talking about?
Diplomacy is basically, the goal is for it to be a kind of a lore delivery system where you can basically combat NPCs with conversations, but you use a deck. And the deck has various things. It's kind of like playing Magic or the Free Realms card games or anything like that. That's about it. You get cards as loot, things like that. You build a deck, and you go into the combat with the cards that you've chosen, and you have to play back and forth. And every time that a round goes by, a piece of conversation could be revealed or not. So it's an interesting way to deliver lore.
Yeah, it was the first time I'd actually seen a game like that embedded in an MMO, and I really want to go back and do a whole lot more of that. So I think that's it for us today. We've just hit our 20-minute mark, and we thank you all for joining us for the first ever Vanguard webcast. I hope that these guys will actually come back for some more, especially
absolutely.
once we launch.
Sure. Yeah.
That should be a lot of fun. And SOE Live, you guys going to be there?
Of course.
You going to do a panel?
Yeah.
Ah, see? You heard it. So make sure you go sign up for SOE Live as well, and we will bring you some more news about Vanguard just as soon as we have it. Thank you for joining us. And
Sony.